The crying was quiet, but heavy with pain. Elena stopped on the stairs, the cleaning cloth still in her hand, and looked toward the second-floor hallway. It was her first day in that mansion. Doña Carmen had been clear, do not go upstairs, do not make noise, do not bother the girl. But there was something wrong with that cry. Elena took the steps two at a time. A door at the end of the hallway was ajar. She pushed it open slowly. Hello? Is anyone there? A little girl was curled up on the bathroom floor. She must have been about 8 years old, far too thin, with skin so pale it looked transparent. On her head, she wore a pink scarf tied tight, and beneath the scarf, red stains were seeping through. Blood. My God, what happened to you? Elena knelt down quickly, reaching out her hand. The girl shrank back even further, trembling all over. Don't tell Grandma, please. Calm down. Calm down, I won't tell anyone, but you're hurt, let me see. You can't, no one can see. The blood kept dripping. Elena felt her heart race. There was no time to gain trust slowly. Listen, my name is Elena, I work here now, and I'm not going to leave you bleeding like this, okay? She held the girl's hand firmly but with affection. The child hesitated, then nodded, her huge eyes full of tears. Elena began to untie the scarf slowly. The fabric was stuck to her hair because of the dried blood. The girl bit her lip, holding back a moan of pain. When the scarf finally came off, Elena felt her stomach turn. The child's scalp was covered in wounds, and embedded in the skin, shining under the cold bathroom light, were several metal paper clips, those thin office clips, some rusted, some twisted, some still with fresh blood. Elena's hands shook. Who did this to you? The girl began to cry. Louder. Grandma! She says I killed my mom. Elena felt her own tears burning in her eyes. How? How could someone do this to a child? No, you didn't kill anyone. That's crazy. Mom fell down the stairs when she came to check if I was okay during the storm. She says if I hadn't been scared, Mom wouldn't have come up, wouldn't have fallen. The girl's voice was so broken, so full of pain, that Elena had to swallow her sobs. When was this? Months ago. 6 months. 6 months of this child being tortured by her own grandmother. What is your name? Sofía. Sofía, listen, I'm going to take these clips out now, okay? It's going to hurt a little, but I need to do it. Then we'll talk to your dad. No? Sofía recoiled, terrified. My dad doesn't care anymore. He just stays in his studio. He doesn't even look at me. I think he also thinks I killed Mom. Elena took a deep breath. There was no time. She needed to act. Okay. Then for now this stays between us, but I'm going to remove these clips and clean these wounds. Are you brave? Sofía nodded. Yes, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Then hold my hand. Squeeze it really tight when it hurts. Elena opened the bathroom cabinet, looking for something to use. She found small tweezers, cotton, alcohol. It wasn't ideal, but it would have to do. She began removing the clips one by one. Sofía squeezed her hand so hard her nails dug into Elena's skin. The girl bit a towel until she bled, but she didn't scream, didn't make a sound. She had learned to suffer in silence. Each clip that came out made a horrible metallic sound as it hit the sink. Elena cleaned the blood, applying alcohol, trying to be as gentle as possible, but she saw the pain on Sofía's face through the silent tears streaming. Down. We're almost done, my love. You are being very strong. 15 minutes. 15 minutes of torture to undo 6 months of cruelty. When the last clip fell into the sink with a clink, Elena finally breathed. There. Now I'm going to clean everything properly. She washed every wound with care, disinfected them, applied ointment. Sofía's scalp was a map of old scars and new wounds. Some had already become infected. Elena gathered all the clips from the sink and placed them on a piece of paper towel. They were evidence. She was going to show them to the girl's father. Quick, firm footsteps. In the hallway. Elena froze. Sofía's eyes went wide, the fear returning with full force. Grandma! There was no time to hide anything. The bathroom door opened. Doña Carmen stood there, her eyes going from Elena to Sofía, to the bloody clips on the paper towel, to the scarf on the floor. For a second, no one moved. Then Doña Carmen smiled, a small, icy smile. "What do you think you are doing?" Elena stood up, placing her body in front of Sofía. "I know what you are doing to this girl. This ends now." "Is that so?" Doña Carmen stepped into the bathroom, closing the door behind her. "And who is going to believe you? A maid who just got here against me? Her father will believe it when I show him these wounds, these clips." Doña Carmen took a step forward. Her eyes were cold as ice. "Sofía, darling, tell the girl what happened." Sofía trembled, looked at Elena, then at her. "Grandmother." Her voice came out as a whisper. Tell her who hurt you." "Grandma, please." Sofía began to cry desperately. Doña Carmen sighed as if dealing with a spoiled child. "See? She won't say anything because she knows she deserves it. She knows she needs to pay for what she did." Elena felt a boiling rage. "You are crazy, sick. This girl didn't do anything. She killed my daughter-in-law. Lucia was like a daughter to me, perfect. And this weak, cowardly child took her from me. It was an accident. It was her fault. And she will learn, she will become strong, or she will continue to suffer." Doña Carmen reached for the paper towel with the clips. Elena stepped back, protecting them. "Don't touch this. Give me that." "No." Doña Carmen looked at her for a long moment, then shrugged. "Fine." She turned and left the bathroom. Elena was confused. That had been too easy. "Sofía, put on a long-sleeved shirt. We're going downstairs and I'm going to talk to your dad right now." But Sofía was paralyzed, staring at the door. "She's going to do something. She always does." "She won't. I won't let her." Elena took Sofía by the hand and left the bathroom. The hallway, was empty, too silent. They went down the stairs slowly. When they reached the living room, Doña Carmen was there, hiding something. When she turned, Elena saw what it was. The apron Elena had left in the kitchen, and Doña Carmen was stuffing something into the pocket. When she finished, she looked at Elena with that smile again. "Sofía!" Her voice changed. It became hysterical, desperate. "Sofía, my love, thank God you managed to escape. Come here, quickly." "What?" "I caught her. I caught that woman hurting you." Elena felt the floor disappear beneath her feet. No. Doña Carmen ran to the phone, dialing with fake, trembling hands. Real tears streamed down her face. "Alejandro, son, come home now. It's the maid. My God. The new maid was sticking clips into Sofía's head. I caught her. There's blood. There's blood on her hands." Elena looked at her own hands. They had the same blood from when she cleaned Sofía's wounds. Sofía, tell the truth. Tell him." But Sofía was frozen, looking at her grandmother with absolute fear in her eyes. Doña Carmen hung up and walked over to Elena, her voice low enough that only she could hear. "Now you're going to understand what it means to lose everything." The minutes that followed were a blur. Elena tried to explain, begged Sofía to speak, tried to show the girl's old scars, but Doña Carmen had an answer for everything. The scars were from before, from when Sofía fell off her bike. The clips. Elena had brought them from home, the blood on her hands, proof of the crime. When the door burst open, Alejandro Vargas entered like a hurricane, tall, suit half-crooked, hair messy, face transformed. "Where is she?" "Alejandro, thank God!" Doña Carmen pointed at Elena. "I went up to see Sofía and that woman was torturing my granddaughter. Look at this." She showed the apron. She pulled from the pocket the same clips Elena had removed, covered in blood. Alejandro turned to Elena, and what she saw there was pure, primal hatred. "You hurt my daughter? No, listen, please. It was your mother. She's the one doing this to Sofía. She has been for months. Look at the wounds. There are old scars." "She's lying," Doña Carmen interrupted. "Look at her hands. Look at the blood. I arrived just in time. If I hadn't gone up..." Alejandro stepped closer to Elena. She had never seen so much hate in a human being. Sofía, his voice came out dangerously low. What happened? Everyone looked at the girl. She was trembling so much it looked like she might faint. She opened her mouth, closed it. Tears streamed down endlessly. The girl, speak, my love. You can speak. This woman won't hurt you anymore. Sofía looked at Elena, and in her eyes there was so much apology, fear, despair. But when she looked at her grandmother, she saw something that made her freeze. A silent threat, a reminder. I don't... Sofía began to cry convulsively. Alejandro grabbed Elena by the arm, with brutal force. You are a monster! No. Look at your daughter, really look at her. The wounds aren't new. This has been happening for months. You have the right to remain silent. Elena didn't even see when the police arrived. Everything happened too fast. Doña Carmen crying, telling the story again. Alejandro showing the clips, showing the blood, showing Sofía's wounds. One of the officers grabbed Elena by the arms. Ma'am, you'll have to come with us. I didn't do anything. Sofía, please, tell the truth. Sofía tried, opened her mouth, tried to speak, but when she saw her grandmother's glare, the voice simply didn't come out. She collapsed, weeping, hiding her face in her hands. The handcuffs clicked on Elena's wrists. The cold metal bit into her skin. No, please, you don't understand. She did it. The grandmother is the one torturing the girl. But no one listened. She was dragged outside. Neighbors had come out of their houses, cell phones recording, people whispering. How horrible. She heard a sick child. Elena was put in the patrol car. A door slammed. Through the glass, she saw Sofía running out, trying to shout something. But Doña Carmen grabbed the girl by the shoulders, pulling her back inside. The car drove off. The police station was a nightmare. Photos, fingerprints, interrogation after interrogation. Elena told the truth 100 times, but without Sofía to confirm, without proof other than her word, there was no way. And who was she? A cleaning lady. A nobody. 3 days. 3 days in a cell with other women who looked at her with disgust when they found out what she had been accused of. Anyone who hurts a child doesn't deserve to live, one of them said. The first night, Elena didn't sleep. She just stayed curled up, in a corner, hugging her own knees. On the third day, a public defender who looked tired with a briefcase too full and no time to believe her story told her, "They're releasing you without sufficient concrete evidence to maintain pre-trial detention, but the investigation continues. Do not leave." The city. When Elena left the station, the sun was shining too brightly. It hurt her eyes. She took the bus back to her neighborhood. Every person looking at her seemed to know, seemed to judge. The building of her small apartment had a notice taped to the door. Immediate eviction for contract. Violation. Involvement in criminal activity. The boxes with her things were thrown on the sidewalk. Someone had written on the biggest one with a red marker, "Monster." Elena sat right there amidst the boxes in the middle of the street. She opened her phone. It had 347 notifications. She opened. The first one, a news article. Maid tortured 8-year-old girl, family in shock. The photo of her being taken away in handcuffs was everywhere. The comments were worse. People like this don't deserve to live. Hope she rots in jail. Poor family. What trauma that child will carry. A private message. Unknown number. I know where you live. You will pay dearly for what you did. Another. Monster. You should die. One more. We know who you are. You won't escape. Elena turned off the phone, hands shaking so much she almost dropped it. A friend from church, Rosa, passed by the street. Elena raised her hand to wave, desperate for a friendly face. Rosa looked at her. Her eyes went wide with fright. She crossed to the other side of the street, quickening her pace. Rosa! Rosa, wait! I didn't do anything! But she had already turned the corner, almost running. 2 nights. Elena slept 2 nights in a square, curled up on a bench, hugging one of the boxes. People passed by and threw coins, thinking she was homeless. Others spat. called her horrible names when they recognized the face from the news. On the third morning, another friend from church finally answered the phone. Juana, please, I have nowhere to go. Just one night, just until I get organized. Long silence on the other end. Elena, I don't know. People are talking. I didn't do anything, I swear to God. I was trying to help the girl. Another silence. One night, only one. But you sleep on the couch. Elena almost cried with relief. Thank you. Thank you. That night at Juana's house, Elena watched the news. The story had gone viral. Special report, the Maid of Evil, how a common woman became a monster. Interviews with neighbors who didn't even know her but were certain she was always strange. Psychologists analyzing her profile. Alejandro giving an interview, red eyes, voice breaking, asking for justice for his daughter. And at the end, a photo of Sofía, beautiful, fragile, with that pink scarf on her head. The caption, innocent victim recovers from trauma. Elena turned off the TV, lay on the couch, looked at the ceiling. It was all over. Her job, her reputation, her home, her life, everything. And somewhere in that huge mansion, an 8-year-old girl was crying alone in the dark, still with clips being buried into her skin all week, still suffering, and no one was going to save her, because the only person who tried was now seen as a monster. Juana opened the door of the back room on the morning of the 4th day. Her face was closed off, not meeting Elena's eyes. Look, Elena, you need to go. But you said I could stay a few days until... I know what I said, but the neighbors saw you enter. They're commenting. My husband is getting calls at work asking why we are harboring that woman. Juana, I have nowhere to go. I'm very sorry, truly, but I can't risk my family for this. Elena gathered the few things she had, put everything in the old backpack. Juana didn't even wait for her to finish packing. She was practically pushing her out of the house. The street was full of sunlight when Elena stepped out. She walked aimlessly, just getting away. 3 hours later, she was sitting on a park bench downtown, having eaten nothing, not knowing what to do. The first night in the park was hell. Cold, noise, fear. Elena barely slept. On the second night, a homeless woman approached her. First time sleeping here? Yes. Here. The woman handed her a piece of cardboard. Put it under you. The bench gets less hard. Elena took the cardboard and felt like crying. She had fallen so low she was receiving survival lessons on the street. 5 days passed like this. Elena ate when someone gave her something. She tried to get work in 3 different places. In all of them, as soon as they heard her name, she saw the recognition in their eyes. We have no vacancies. Position? Filled. You don't fit the profile. On the 6th day, she made a decision. She couldn't just stay there, accepting everything. She needed to do something. She took the bus with the last coin she had and got off near the wealthy neighborhood. She walked to the street of the Vargas mansion, stood. On the other side of the street, hiding behind a car, watching. She wanted to see Sofía, wanted to know if the girl was okay, if anyone had realized the truth. She waited 2 hours. Nothing. The curtains of the house closed. No movement. A security guard from the gated community approached. Does the lady need something? No, I'm leaving. Elena ran back to the bus stop, heart racing. She couldn't be seen there. If Alejandro found out, he would call the police again. He would say she was stalking the family, but at least she had tried. Back at the park, Elena sat on her bench. A woman. Passed hurriedly, looked at her, stopped, came back. Elena! She looked up. It was Teresa, an acquaintance from church. Hello, Teresa. Teresa looked around, clearly uncomfortable being seen there. What are you doing here? Living. I have nowhere else. Teresa fell silent for a moment, then sighed. Come with me. Let's talk. They went to a nearby cafeteria. Teresa ordered coffee and bread for both of them. When the order arrived, Elena devoured the bread in seconds. She hadn't eaten anything hot in days. Elena, I've known you for years, and I can't believe you did what they say. Elena felt the tears burning. I didn't do it, Teresa. I swear. I tried to help the girl, her grandmother. She is the one who was hurting Sofía. Then why didn't the girl say anything? She was scared of her grandmother, and I have no way to prove it. Teresa stirred her coffee, thoughtful. Look, I can't take you to my house. My husband wouldn't accept it, but I know a woman from church, Doña Blanca, who rents out a tiny room. It's cheap. Do you have money? No, I have nothing. I'll pay the first 2 months, but you have to find a way to support yourself afterwards. Okay? Elena almost fell to her knees right there. Really? Why? Why are you doing this? Because I believe in you, and because if I'm wrong about you, I'll find out soon. But if I'm right, I won't be able to sleep knowing I left you on the street. Doña Blanca's room was tiny. It had a single bed, a small wardrobe, a shared bathroom in the hallway, but it had a roof. It had a door that locked. It had safety. Elena lay on the bed that night and wept with relief, with gratitude, with grief for everything she had lost. But at least she had a roof. Part 2. Meanwhile, at the Vargas mansion, Sofía hadn't spoken a single word in 3 weeks. Alejandro was desperate. He took his daughter to doctors, psychologists, therapists. Everyone said the same thing: severe trauma. They recommended time, patience, love, but nothing worked. Sofía only wrote in a notebook when she needed something. She ate little, slept even less, and never, ever took the pink scarf off her head. My love, you need to talk to me. You need to tell me what you're feeling. But Sofía just shook her head and looked down. Doña Carmen, when Alejandro was around, was the perfect grandmother, affectionate, concerned, always offering help. Alejandro, son, you need to rest. Let me take care of Sofía today. You work too much. But when they were alone, the mask fell. Doña Carmen would squeeze the girl's arm tightly, leaving purple marks hidden by the long-sleeved blouse. You learn to keep quiet. Good. But don't think. Don't. It's over. Far from it. At night, when Alejandro slept, Doña Carmen would enter Sofía's room with a small metal box. Inside were new paper clips. You know you need this to be strong, to pay. And she would insert the clips one by one, while Sofía bit her pillow so hard her teeth hurt. She couldn't scream. If she screamed, her dad would wake up. And Grandma said that if she told, her dad would send her away too, because no one wants a child who kills her own mother. At school, Sofía fainted in math class. The teacher, Patricia, was terrified. Sofía, someone call the nurse! When Sofía woke up, she was in the principal's office. Teacher Patricia and the principal, Sylvia, looked at her with concern. Sofía, this is the 4th time you've fainted this month. What is happening, my love? Sofía took the notebook and wrote, I'm just tired. Tiredness doesn't make you faint like that. Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Sofía nodded. Yes. A lie. The principal exchanged a look with the teacher. I'm going to call your dad, and I think we're going to need to make a report to Child Protective Services. A child fainting this much isn't normal. Sofía's eyes widened in terror. She shook her head desperately, writing fast. No, I'm fine. I promise. But the principal had already picked up the phone. Alejandro arrived in 15 minutes, picked Sofía up in his arms, and took her straight to the hospital. In the ER, doctors ran tests. Blood, pressure, everything. Sofía was dehydrated, malnourished, anemic. Her body was shutting down bit by bit. Mr. Vargas, you need to admit your daughter. She is very weak. She needs IV fluids, controlled feeding, observation. Do it. Do whatever is necessary. Sofía was placed in a room. Alejandro stayed by her side the whole time, holding her hand, apologizing for not noticing. Doña Carmen arrived an hour later with a worried face. My little granddaughter, everything is fine now. Grandma is here. But when she looked at Sofía, her eyes said something else. They said, don't even think about opening your mouth. On the 2nd night of admission, a young nurse, Carla, entered to bathe Sofía. Come, dear, let's get you clean. She helped Sofía sit on the bath chair and began washing her. When she went to wash her hair, she tried to remove the scarf. No! Sofía held the scarf tightly. Calm down, love. I need to wash your... Head 2. No! Carla stopped. Something was very wrong. Sofía, do you have something hurt there? Sofía began to cry, shaking her head. Carla, very carefully, started prying the girl's fingers from the scarf. Slowly, with patience. I won't hurt you, I promise. I just want to see. The scarf came off. Carla's eyes went wide. My God! Sofía's scalp was covered in wounds, some very old, scarred over, others recent, still bleeding a little. And there were marks, dozens of marks where something had been inserted repeatedly. Carla ran out and called the supervisor, Pilar. Both examined Sofía carefully. The girl cried endlessly, trembling. Child, who did this to you? Sofía didn't answer. She couldn't. Doña Pilar grabbed the medical chart. It says here she was a victim of aggression by a maid who was arrested, but these wounds... There are new wounds here from 2-3 days ago, Max. But the woman was arrested almost a month ago, Carla said. Exactly. Doña Pilar called the on-call doctor, Dr. Castillo. He examined Sofía, asked questions she didn't answer, took photos of the wounds. I'm calling Child Protective Services and social work. This is a case of continuous abuse. When Alejandro was informed, he almost fainted. What do you mean, new wounds? The woman who did this is in jail. Mr. Vargas, someone is still hurting your daughter, and we need to find out who. Doña Carmen, who had heard everything from the hallway, entered the room pale but composed herself. Quickly. Doctor, with all due respect, my granddaughter has very sensitive skin. Those old wounds get inflamed easily. They might look new, but... Ma'am, I know how to differentiate a new wound from an inflamed one. These were done recently. Alejandro looked at his mother, then at Sofía. Then, back to his mother. Mom, you stay with Sofía all the time when I'm not here. Are you accusing me of something, Alejandro? No, of course not. But someone is hurting my daughter and I need to know who. We already know who it was. That maid who's been in jail for 3 weeks. Dr. Castillo intervened. We are keeping Sofía admitted longer, and the social worker will conduct an interview with her tomorrow, alone. Doña Carmen left the room furious, but controlled, always controlled. The next day, Monica, the social worker, entered Sofía's room. Hello, Sofía. My name is Monica. Can I talk to you? Sofía looked at her without saying anything. I know you're not talking. That's okay, but I need to ask you some questions. You can write the answers. Is that okay? Sofía took the notebook. Who is hurting you? Sofía wrote. No one. Sofía, we know someone is. The wounds don't lie. And we want to help you, but we only can if you tell us. Sofía stared at the notebook, her hand trembling over the pen. Monica leaned in and held her hand affectionately. Are you afraid of someone? Sofía began to cry. She nodded yes. Is it someone in your house? Sofía stopped breathing. Then, slowly, she nodded yes again. Is it your dad? She shook her head. Is it your grandmother? Sofía froze. Her whole body went rigid. Monica had her answer. Okay, my love. You don't need to say anything else right now, but know that we are going to protect you. I won't let anyone hurt you anymore. After Monica left, Sofía stayed alone, looking at the ceiling, thinking. The social worker had understood. But so what? Grandma always found a way. Always. And if Sofía told, Grandma was going to do worse things. But she was so tired of being afraid, of staying quiet. She thought of Elena, of the girl who had removed the clips with care, who had promised to help, who had lost everything trying to save her. And Sofía had let them take her, had stayed quiet, had been a coward. She couldn't do it anymore. That afternoon, Nurse Carla came in to change the IV. She looked at Sofía. How are you, princess? Sofía took the notebook and wrote, Can you help me with something? Sure, what do you need? Sofía wrote slowly with trembling hands. I need to record a video for my dad, but I can't let anyone know. Can you do that? Carla read it and looked at the girl. She saw the desperation in her eyes. Can you write down what you want to say so I can make sure I understood correctly? Sofía nodded yes. Then okay, I'll record it for you and send it to your dad. But are you sure? Sofía wrote. Yes. I can't stand seeing this anymore. Carla took her own phone, set it to record, looked at Sofía. Ready? Sofía took a deep breath, then nodded. Carla pressed the red button. Sofía looked at the camera, tears streaming down, and for the first time in 3 weeks, she opened her mouth to speak. The voice came out quiet, broken, but it came out. Dad, it's me, Sofía. I need to tell you something. She paused, swallowed hard, continued. The lady, Elena, she didn't do anything bad to me. She was helping me. It was Grandma. Grandma is the one who puts the clips in my head. The voice became firmer, more desperate. She's been doing this since Mom died. She says it's my fault that I killed Mom, that I need to pay. And it hurts, Dad. It hurts so much. Every night she comes. Every night she puts more. Sofía showed her head to the camera, the wounds, the marks. I know I'm a coward. I know I should have spoken sooner, but I was so scared. And then Elena helped me and I let them take her. I'm a coward. She sobbed, but continued. But I don't want to be anymore. I can't take it anymore, Dad. So I'm speaking now. Grandma does this to me and she said if I told, you would send me away. But I need to tell. I need to. She looked. Straight at the camera, straight into the eyes of the father who would watch this. Forgive me for not speaking sooner. Forgive me for being weak. But please, Dad, please believe me, I can't take it anymore. Carla stopped the recording. She was crying too. You are the bravest girl I have ever met. Sofía wrote in the notebook, send it to my dad's email, but don't tell anyone you recorded it, please. What is his email? Sofía wrote the address she had seen thousands of times on her father's computer. Carla sent the video, then deleted it from her phone. Done. He'll receive it, and everything is going to change now. Sofía lay back in bed, heart racing, fear enormous, but also for the first time in months, there was something different. Hope. Alejandro was in the mansion's office trying to work when his phone beeped. A new email. He opened it distractedly. No subject, just an attached video. He pressed play without thinking much. He saw his daughter, heard her voice, the voice he hadn't heard in weeks. He heard every word, every confession, every cry for help. The phone fell from his hand, hit the floor, screen cracking. Alejandro fell to his knees, began to scream. A scream of pain so deep it seemed to tear him apart from the inside. He had failed. He had let his own mother torture his daughter. He had accused an innocent woman. He had destroyed everything. He punched the desk, punched it again and again until his hand bled. Then he ran to the car. He needed to get to the hospital. He needed to hug Sofía. He needed to remove his mother from the girl's life, and he needed to find Elena. He needed to fix what he had broken, even if it took the rest of his life. Alejandro drove off without looking. Traffic was heavy as always, but he swerved, sped, honked. 20 minutes later, he parked the car badly in front of the hospital. He ran inside, bounded up the stairs. 3rd floor, room 312. He opened the door. Sofía was lying in bed, looking out the window. When she saw her father, her whole body went rigid. Her eyes went wide as if expecting punishment. Alejandro crossed the room, but instead of yelling, instead of scolding, he did something he hadn't done in months. He hugged his daughter. He hugged her tightly, with desperation, with all the love he had kept inside his chest since Lucia died. My love. I saw it. I saw the video. Sofía tensed in the hug, then began to tremble. The tears came. I am so sorry. Alejandro's voice broke. I am so sorry. I should have seen. I should have realized. I should have been a real father, and I wasn't. I abandoned you when you needed me most. Do you believe me? Sofía's voice came out in a thin whisper. I believe every word. And your grandmother will never touch you again. I promise. It's over. Sofía sobbed and clung to her father. And for the first time in 6 months, she let it all out. All the fear, all the pain, all the suffering. She cried until she couldn't anymore. Alejandro cried. With her, holding his daughter, swearing to himself he would never fail her again. The door opened. Doña Carmen entered with a bag. When she saw the two embracing, she flashed that sweet, fake smile she always used. "So good to see you two like this. My little granddaughter is better." Alejandro didn't let go of Sofía, just turned his head slowly to look at his mother. And the look she saw there made her stop. "Alejandro, son, what happened? Get out of here." "What? I said get out." The shout echoed through the entire hallway. Sofía shrank in her father's arms, but this time not out of fear of him. It was fear of her grandmother. Doña Carmen went pale, but composed herself quickly, putting on a victim mask. "Son, you're scaring me. What is it? What did that girl invent now?" "She didn't invent anything. She told me the truth." Finally, Alejandro took out the phone with the cracked screen and showed the video. Pressed play. Sofía's voice filled the room. Doña Carmen watched with her face growing harder and harder. When the video ended, she sighed, looked at Sofía, then at her son. "Alejandro, you don't understand. I did it for her. To help her." "Help her?" His voice came out dangerously low. "You stuck metal clips into the head of an 8-year-old girl. You tortured your own granddaughter for months. How is that helping? She needs to be strong. She killed my Lucia. She killed your wife. It was an accident. It was her fault. If she wasn't so weak, so fearful, Lucia wouldn't have gone up those stairs, wouldn't have fallen. She would be alive." Sofía began to cry louder. Alejandro held her tighter. "She was 6 years old, Mom. 6. She was a child afraid of a storm. How do you blame a child for that? Because Lucia was perfect. She was strong. She was everything this girl will never be. And she took Lucia from me. So yes, she needs to pay. She needs to learn." "Learn what? To be afraid, to suffer, to hate herself? To be strong. Not to be a crying coward who won't shut her mouth." Alejandro stood up from the bed. Sofía stayed curled up, but now watching, seeing her father finally defend her. "You tortured my daughter. You planted evidence against an innocent person, destroyed the life of a woman who only tried to help, and you're here trying to explain it as if it were something noble. I did what was right and I would do it. Again, that maid shouldn't have interfered. Get out of my sight. You can't kick me out. I'm your mother. You aren't anyone's mother anymore. You are a criminal and I am going to file a police report against you right now. I'm going to sue you for torture, child abuse, everything the law allows." Doña Carmen gave a bitter smile. "You're going to regret this. Both of you will. The only one who is going to regret this is you. Now get out before I call security and have them drag you out." Doña Carmen looked at Sofía one last time. The girl didn't look down. For the first time, she looked back, and in that look, there was something new. Courage. Doña Carmen took her purse and left, her footsteps echoing down the hall until they vanished. When the door closed, Alejandro went back to the bed, sat next to Sofía, and held her hand. "It's over, my love. She won't hurt you anymore." "I won't allow it." Alejandro called Dr. Castillo, and Monica, the social worker, showed them the video. "I need you to document everything, every wound, every scar. I'm going to make a formal report, and I want this treated with the seriousness it deserves." Alejandro left the hospital straight for the prosecutor's office. It was almost 9 p.m., but he couldn't wait. At the office, there was Commander Ortega, a man of about 50. Alejandro told everything, showed the video, handed over copies of the photos. "Mr. Vargas, I'm going to be frank with you. This case is going to be news, and it has the aggravating factor of the lady who was unjustly imprisoned. We're going to have to reopen her case, too." "I know, and I want that. Elena didn't do anything. She tried to save my daughter, and I condemned her. I'm going to file the report now. And tomorrow morning, first thing, I'm going to request the arrest warrant for your mother. With this evidence, the judge will grant it immediately." Alejandro left the office. He went straight home. Couldn't sleep. The next morning, Alejandro woke up early, showered, put on a suit, and went to a law firm downtown. When lawyer Silva, one of the Best criminal defense attorneys in the city arrived. Alejandro was already waiting. Counselor, I need to hire you for 2 cases. A criminal one against my mother and a damages suit for a woman who was unjustly accused. While Alejandro dealt with legal matters, Doña Carmen was at a friend's house. The doorbell rang. Carmen, it's the police. Doña Carmen stood up, smoothed her skirt, put on her respectable lady mask, and went to the door. Mrs. Carmen Silva. Yes. You are under arrest for aggravated torture and abuse of a minor. What? That is absurd. The handcuffs clicked on her wrists. Doña Carmen tried to argue but was led to the patrol car. Neighbors came out to look. The humiliation began there. That same afternoon, an investigative reporter named Javier Ruiz received a call from Alejandro's lawyer. I have a story that will interest you about delayed justice and an unjustly accused heroine. 2 hours later, the news was on air. Injustice corrected. Grandmother tortured 8-year-old granddaughter. Maid jailed while trying to save child. The news had everything. Clips of Sofia's video with her face blurred. Doña Carmen's arrest, an interview with Alejandro publicly. Apologizing, and Elena's story. Within an hour, it was everywhere, but Elena didn't know anything yet. She was at the restaurant where she worked, washing dishes, hands red from scrubbing. The owner, Don Pedro, entered the kitchen with his phone in hand. Elena, you need to see this. See what, Don? Pedro? It's true. Elena read the headline. Elena Santos, a heroine who lost everything for doing the right thing. She read about Sofía recording the video, about Doña Carmen being arrested, about Alejandro apologizing. She collapsed. She cried right there, sitting on the floor. Sofía had spoken. The truth had won. The phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Elena? Yes. It's Alejandro. Alejandro Vargas. Elena went silent. I know you have no reason to talk to me. I know you must hate me. But I need to see you. I need to ask for your forgiveness personally. How did you get my number? I called the church. Spoke to a woman named Teresa. She gave it to me. Is Sofía okay? Yes, thanks to you. If you hadn't taken those clips out that day, if you hadn't shown her that someone cared, she never would have found the courage. She was very brave. She was, and so were you. You lost everything trying to save her. And I treated you like a criminal. Elena, I have no words to ask for forgiveness, but I need to do it in person. And Sofía, she wants to see you. Elena closed her eyes. Part of her wanted to hang up, but another part could only think of Sofía. Where? Are you? Still at the hospital, but I can come to you. 40 minutes later, a car pulled up in front of the restaurant. Alejandro got out with Sofía in his arms. The girl was thin, pale but awake, with white bandages on her head. Elena was waiting at the back door. Alejandro walked toward her, slowly. Sofía clung to her father's neck, but looked at Elena with those huge eyes. Elena? The voice came out in a whisper. Elena didn't think. She took the girl in her arms. Sofía threw herself at her, crying, Forgive me for not speaking. Hush, my love, hush. You have nothing to apologize for. You were a scared child. But you suffered because of me. You lost everything. And now I've been cleared. And you told the truth. And that is worth everything. Alejandro knelt on the ground. Elena, I have no words. I am going to clear your name completely, and I am going to compensate you financially for everything. Rent, work, moral damages, everything. I don't want your money, Alejandro. Then tell me what you want. I want you to be the father she deserves. Protect her. Never let anyone hurt her again. I promise with my life. I promise. He hesitated. And Sofía asked me something. She wants you to be part of her life if you want. She trusts you. Elena looked at the girl in her arms. Do you really want that? Sofía nodded. You were the only one who helped me. I want to have you close, please. Okay. I'll stay close. Alejandro breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you. And about the compensation, please. At least let me help you have a dignified life again. Home, decent job. You deserve it. Elena was going to refuse, but thought of the tiny room and accepted. It wasn't pride, it was justice. Okay, but I work. I don't want charity. That night, the news continued to explode. Doña Carmen was taken to a custody hearing the next day. The judge ordered mandatory pretrial detention. In prison, the other inmates already knew who she was. Look, the saint from church who tortured the girl. Doña Carmen's life would not be easy. 3 days. Later, Alejandro got a small but decent apartment for Elena. It's not borrowed, he said. It's yours. Rent-free for 2 years. Then we'll see. He also got her a job as an administrative assistant at a friend's company. Fair salary, benefits. That night, Elena lay in the new bed. Sofía had asked to sleep there. Alejandro let her. Are you going to stay forever? Sofía asked. I'll stay as long as you need me, so it's going to be forever. The following months were of healing. Slow, but real. Sofía went back to school. Alejandro sold the mansion and bought a smaller house. And every Friday night the three had dinner together. It was on one of those Fridays, 8 months later, that something changed. Elena, Sofía asked, are you happy now? I think I'm at peace, and that is good. Alejandro watched her. He had fallen in love with her strength, her kindness. Elena, will you come live with us someday? Sofía asked. Elena was surprised. Why do you ask that? Because I'd like it. To wake up and have you there. 2 weeks later, Alejandro asked to speak with her. He confessed his feelings. I fell in love with you. I know I have no right, but I needed to say it. Elena was scared, but decided to try. 4 months later, Alejandro proposed with Sofía's help and a cake that read, Stay with us forever. Elena accepted. They married 6 months later. A small ceremony. Sofía carried the rings. I declare you husband and wife. Now they were officially a family. That night, sitting in the garden, Sofía asked, Do you think everything that happened was for a reason? I don't know if there is a reason, Elena said. But I know we can choose what to do with the pain. We can let it destroy us, or use it to be stronger. Look now. You survived. Your dad changed. I found a family. We transformed pain into love. I love you, Mom. It was the first time she called Elena that. 2 years later, life had come full circle. Sofía was well. Elena was a manager at her company. Alejandro had more time for them. And Doña Carmen served her sentence alone, without visits. Some people had no cure, but outside that prison, life continued full, beautiful, and real. Did you like this story? Were you moved by little Sofía's bravery? Which part touched your heart the most? Tell me in the comments. Until the next story.